We went through a really rough period up until that point, and since then we have been on the crest of a wave. We won our franchises in rail about 10 years ago, 1997, for cross country and West Coast. And being Virgin, when we took over those franchises, there was a very high weight of expectation about us turning round all the woes of British rail in very little time. We became the face of the rail industry, if you like, and bore a lot of the brunt of what was going on negatively at the time. There were a number of high-profile accidents, none of which involved us, and then the Hatfield disaster, which closed down Railtrack. We did almost immediately invest £2 billion in new trains to overcome the negative perceptions that had been generated in PR, and that led to the launch of this campaign.
We had another challenge in the fact that we didn't really have any new news to tell people. The Pendolino trains that featured in the ads had been rolled out for about 10 months by the time the advertising went on air.
We knew that just telling people the facts about our new trains was never going to be enough.
The key objectives of the Return the Train campaign were to really get people to travel by train again.
The people were taking the train, but because they had to rather than because they wanted to.
We had to overcome this kind of lack of emotional connection with the rail industry. You know, people thought travelling by plane was kind of more glamorous. Travelling by car was just kind of a convenient choice. But the rail industry just kind of had lost on all fronts.
The success or otherwise of a campaign is rooted in creativity and tapping into people's emotions. And for me, the only medium that can really do that absolutely successfully is TV.
TV was used very much to generate emotion and appeal and the image around the offering.
And what we did was really romance train travel from a bygone era, kind of show the romance of train travel, the excitement of train travel that we once had.
There were some specific facts that we also needed to convey, things like timetables, things like speed, things like onboard services.
Radio, press and online were used to bring in the hard facts.
We also sponsored a series of classic matinees on Turner.
Cinema sponsorship of films that starred in the ad.
Interactive TV also, with a click-through competition which had a fantastic result. We were expecting around 2,000 competition entries. We got 33,000, which was Sky's highest ever number of competition entries.
I think integration is an overused word, but I can hand on heart say this is a truly integrated campaign. You know, in a sense, this campaign was really a leap of faith for us because what we bought was an idea.
There was a real romance associated with taking the train, and that had been lost.
It felt like a perfect marriage to bring modern technology with like film clips of like the yesteryear, the romance of train travel.
It was a long and sometimes frustrating process.
And it was really enjoyable because we got to watch movies for 6 months in our office. You know, we trailed through hundreds of films.
We spent many months negotiating with estates of actors, in Hollywood.
Worst bit, I suppose, was waiting for approvals from, Warner Brothers or whoever owned the copyright of the stock we wanted to use.
The filming process itself was probably the most complex, laborious process I've ever been involved in.
Every single angle was considered when it was storyboarded. There
was a sense of, how could they get iconic movie stars like Cary Grant and put them inside this tilting Pendolino train.
One of the things we were quite conscious of was that the characters didn't feel like ghosts. So we really wanted to make them feel 3D.
I mean, there was lots of work done adding reflections of like Cary Grant against a plastic window.
It was a lot of time spent trying to match up the old movies with what we were filming on the day, using body doubles.
The railway children, there wasn't an angle of them running down the hill, so we shot that with 3 kids dressed in Victorian costumes. And then when a real Pendolino went past on the track, there's like people looking at the train like, why is all this film crew with like 3 kids in Victorian clothing, running up and down a hill all day? That was great fun to do.
There's no doubt this campaign worked for us on a whole range of levels.
We measured the effectiveness of the campaign by doing ad and brand tracking and also econometric modelling.
But we also kept our eyes on much softer measures such as blogs, such as newspaper articles and what we were hearing around us.
Revenue on the West Coast network went up 32% year on year.
Perhaps the strictest test was the econometric model, which looked at journey numbers across the campaign period.
And perhaps most importantly, delivered a return on investment on the TV ad of over 5 to 1.
We also used our advertising and brand tracking study.
We completely changed perceptions of our brand.
We got the highest ever levels of advertising awareness within the travel industry.
We actually became the #1 in terms of consideration amongst all travel operators in this country, and we actually beat BA.
If I had to sum up the Return on the Train campaign in one sentence, it would be restoring the glamour of train travel.
Just struck a chord with people. You know, it was really emotionally engaging. It was hugely nostalgic.
And the minute all those clips are revealed, people just warm to it. It's like seeing old family again. It was just, people just latched onto it, didn't they, and loved it.
I think it's easy to be overconsumed by the complex media landscape that we face as marketeers. The reality is, it's creativity that cuts through, and TV delivers creativity. If you keep single-mindedly focused on that, then you can deliver great work.
Magic! What is it? It was like a great dragon tearing by.
Better than the hotel. I shall probably keep the menu as a souvenir.
A pot of tea for 2, please. Make absolutely sure that the water is really boiling.
Certainly, madam.
The moment I meet an attractive woman, I have to start pretending I've no desire to make love to her.
What makes you think you have to conceal it?
How do they work in these things, huh?
Will you quit stalling? We're going to miss the train.
Comfy?
Yes, thanks.
Oh, I'm just a minute. Oh, beg your pardon. I'm so sorry. You can always tell a honeymoon couple, you know. They're so shy.
Beats flying, doesn't it?